All right, so good evening, everybody. Welcome to our Why doterra webinar. My name is Holly Lowe, and I am a Canadian founder with doterra as well as a Presidential Diamond team. And that doesn't mean anything to people who don't know as much about doterra, but needless to say, we were one of the first teams in Canada to reach a certain level and size and so on. And we also, so that's how we became founders. And then we are also in the top 1% of the company. So it's been an amazing journey. This is a picture of my little family as we've made this a family business. My husband has retired now, and we do this full time. So while we like to say we're semi-retired, it's mainly because we just do this because we love it now, not because we need it. We're not hustling for the income anymore. It's generating its own income now every month. We do this now because we actually have a very strong passion for what we do. And we want more people to do what we're doing because it's amazing. So that's a real quick, story of what we're doing now today. We travel the world. Our kids are traveling with us. They are learning. They school on the way. We homeschool and we school on the road. And it's been an amazing adventure. So that's my story in a very brief nutshell. So we're looking at a couple of things tonight. I'm going to walk you through as briefly as I can. I don't want to take up too much of your evening. But I want to walk you through some questions. And I want you to be thinking to yourself, the first question would be, if nothing changes in your life, in your business, in your job, in your family, in your income, it could be many things, in your health, excuse me. If nothing changes, let's say in the next 2 to 5 years, if things stay exactly as they're heading now, where will you be at? Will you be, set up better than you are today? Will things be in a better place? Will you be able to retire and have a sufficient income to not just pay the bills that you're going to still have, but to be able to live and enjoy what you're doing with your life at that point? Maybe it would be, are you able to send your kids to school and cover some of their schooling? Maybe it's, if you wanted to go on a trip, could you afford to do that? So some of that is financial. Some of it is time. I work with a lot of moms on maternity leave who are just feeling terrible about the idea of going back to work. And so many of them are looking for something that will allow them to be with their kids. And this was my passion. This was what drove me, is that I really wanted to get out of a place of having to be a master to time, a slave to time, and not being able to master that time. And that's really what pushed me forward to do this, so that I could choose my hours, so I could choose how much I work with my kids, without my kids, time away, time with them, whatever that looked like, I was able to control that. So one of the questions is, are you hauling buckets or building a pipeline? And I'm going to explain this real briefly to you. But it's a great little story. It's an illustration of basically what our 9 to 5, typical traditional jobs look like. Now, it's a story of a man who lived in a village that was far from the nearest water source. So his job was to haul water to the village every day. Everyone needed water, so he had great job security. To earn more money, he would just make more trips. Excuse me. Clear my throat here. After years of hauling buckets, he realized that if something didn't change, he was going to have to do this forever. And our generation really, we're looking at an age where people definitely are not putting money away for retirement because they feel they can't afford to. And the investment into that is not worth it in the end, because it really is not going to pay off when we're investing such small amounts into our retirement. So this is why we have jobs like Walmart greeters now, right? This is why you have people working in industries where they're meant to retire at 60, 55, 60, and they're working into 70 and 75 now, because they can't afford to retire. So back to the story, he made a plan. He realized that this wasn't going to work for him if he had to do this forever. He was going to haul as many buckets as he could just to pay the bills, so just to get by. And then that extra time, he wasn't working extra hours at his regular job. He wasn't going to try and go above and beyond. He was going to do just what was needed to get by. And in the extra time he would then have, he was going to build a pipeline. So he stayed consistent. He persisted in this effort. And after a few years, not a week, not a month, not even a few months, after a few years, he finished his pipeline. So for a few years, he was pulling double duty. He was still working to haul buckets, but he was also laying down the pipeline for something he knew would pay off in the end. So a few years later, he finished. The villagers could come to a tap in the village and get water whenever they wanted. He not only created a pipeline, but he created a financial pipeline, not just water pipeline, a financial pipeline that could allow him to pursue more in his life. So you have to ask yourself, are you going to continue hauling buckets, or are you hauling buckets, or are you willing to create a pipeline? This is what this business overview is about. So showing how just simply sharing oils with people can help you create that pipeline. Now, why? Why did doTERRA look and become a company of essential oils? This is important to know. Timing matters. We're looking at an era of incredible rates of disease, incredible rates of misuse of prescription medications for all ages. And one of the things that really spurred me on as a new mom, but also as a natural health advocate who I worked with pregnant moms and new families in birth and in delivery. Also as a childhood educator, I worked for many, many years, almost 20 years as an early childhood educator with kids with special needs and exceptionalities and child development. So when I saw this, I knew how true it was, that preschool age children are the fastest age group being prescribed antidepressants because they're behavior modifiers. That's ages 2 to 5. I don't like that. So I don't know about you, but that scares me. And I know we're not headed anywhere better. It's not going to get better. We're going down a very dangerous road. And I want to be part of the solution. I don't want to be feeding the problem. So that really is what doTERRA looked at as well. The owners took a look at where they were heading, and they knew their passion was in essential oils. And they also had such a great combined experience in this industry that when they brought their brains together, as I say it, they really brought such a beautiful combination of passion and experience and knowledge, really, and training. So we're in the right time for this. 69% look to natural products to improve some part of their life. You'll see more people now reading labels in the grocery store, looking for natural solutions in the cleaning aisles, looking to make their own things instead of buying it. 48% of them have used some form of essential oil, but only 7%, still in North America, who have used oils have even heard of doTERRA. So it's interesting. I have people saying to me constantly, well, it must be really saturated where you are. There must be a lot of people now who already signed up. And that's true. We've done our job well, and we have really spread the word. But did you know that in Canada, we're not even at 1% yet? We haven't even got 1% of the country has heard about doTERRA. We have a lot of work still to do. doTERRA's mission is to have oil in every home, is to have their oils in every home and be teaching people how to use these as a form of first defense, a line of defense for their families. One of the most popular methods to find out which natural product to use and how to use it comes from the recommendation of a friend. If you think about it, if you've seen an amazing movie or you ate at a great restaurant, you tend to tell people, right? You'll actually go out of your way to let them know about it, and you want them to try it. It's the same thing. And that's why doTERRA, the owners looked at this method and this model and said, this is the way to do this. Because people trust people they know, and they want to hear what's working for them. And that's why it wasn't just slapped on the shelf as another product. Again, these are high therapeutic grade oils, so they are not meant to just be used lightly in a sense. They need to have some instruction, very minimal. It's nothing major, but it definitely comes with some support and some education. And that's the best way to do it, is to have this team approach. doTERRA has been awarded now the title of basically the leading manufacturer of essential oils. This past year, in their 10th year of business, they have been recognized as the leading manufacturer of essential oils. That is a huge honor for such a young company. They are not only growing every year, growing every month actually, but growing every year leaps and bounds. They are a $1 billion company. They have no debt, so they own everything they own. They are able to, because of that, able to pour back into the company. They are able to pour back into us as, the finances back into their educators and the people that are working with them, with one of the best compensation plans. And you'll hear about that after. They have multiple product lines. So it's drop shipping. It goes straight to people's doors. You're not having to handle shipping out people's products or driving around town, dropping them off. That was actually the first thing I asked my best friend when she introduced me to doTERRA. I said, I do not have time to be packing up orders and delivering these to people, because that's all I knew about network marketing. I'm like, I'm not collecting orders. I'm not putting in orders every month like this. I don't have time for this. I'm not organized enough to do that. And she said, no. This is, they ship it right to their door. You don't have to do anything. You just help them get their order in the first time. You show them how to do their orders from that point on. It's all on them. So that was a huge relief to me. And I thought, I can absolutely do this. The best part about it is they obviously have the best oils in the world. They have certified pure therapeutic grade oils. They are tried and tested and true. There's literally nothing that compares to them out there. They also, though, have a skin and hair care line. So one of my top leaders that works with me, she was introduced to doTERRA from my husband, and she didn't want any oils. And for me, I thought, that's kind of crazy. This is an oil company, but she wanted the skincare. And I hadn't even tried it myself. And I thought, okay, well, here you go. Let's try the skincare. But it was so well known for what was in it and how it worked. And she really was my guinea pig in that sense. And she tested it out. And she came back saying, I have tried some of the most expensive products out there. And this blows them all out of the water. It's better than all of them. They also have one of the leading supplements as far as I know, in any company. They are really, really amazing. And then they have an On Guard line, which is their protective line. Those of you who know about the oils themselves, this is for really, we call it the protective blend because it really is helping with, virus and bacteria and things that are just day-to-day life that you want to protect your kids and your family with. And they have a full line of that specific oil. Cleaners, laundry soap, hand soap, toothpaste that I love. Then there's also their Slim and Sassy line, or Smart and Sassy if you're in Canada. These are all paraben-free, chemical, preservative-free, and made specifically with doTERRA's pure oils. So it's such a beautiful package of what they have available. So the essential oils themselves, they're 100% natural. They work with our bodies to promote health without side effects. Our bodies understand how these work and they use them properly. Our cells understand and recognize how these oils work within our body. They're 50 to 70 times more potent, not important, more potent than herbs. They're safe, less expensive, and very effective. The nice thing about that is you don't need a degree in herbals. You don't need a specialist to teach you to do this. You can learn on your own and figure out how to use these safely. And on top of that, again, they're going to be effective. And lastly, these aren't new. This is not a new fad. A lot of people say, oh, it's just the essential oil fad. You're going to see a lot of companies, and we've seen in the last 10 years, a lot of companies coming out of everywhere, jumping on the bandwagon. You can find oils in Walmart now in the States that are, $5 and $10. None of them, I can promise you, none of them measure up to what doTERRA's are. The ones that are $5 and $10, we've seen them tested, and they are all synthetic. There's nothing natural in them at all. But something you need to know with essential oils is there's no governing body out there so far that is making sure, or at least, however you want to look at it, but controlling that what is said on the label is true. And the reason I stuck with doTERRA is they went the extra mile. They put the money and the time into this to prove their own products, not through their own people, through third-party blind testing. So they have nothing to hide. They are going the extra mile, and they are setting the standard now for other companies. So all I can tell you is if it seems like a good deal as far as finding something on the shelf, it probably is synthetic. That's your best way to gauge that. The leadership in this company is, bar none. I couldn't tell you more amazing things about these people. I could go on a long time, but I'm going to breeze through this. These are the owners. It's a privately owned company. It is not publicly traded. They have no plans of ever making it a publicly traded company, so they can keep this in their reins and keep the quality and the products within their control. And I love that, because as somebody who has put their faith in this company and in their products, that's important to know. And that's something to look at if you look at direct selling or network marketing companies, is how many of them are bought out and sold and bought out and sold, and product lines are changed or they completely disappear altogether. And companies that this has happened to. Or they're bought over, or they go public and suddenly the quality completely changes. This isn't going to happen. these men and women, or men and one woman, Emily, have invested not only their finances, they mortgaged their homes in the beginning, they put everything they had and even stuff they didn't have into building what they have today. And they are so proud of doTERRA as their baby, and the quality that they've been able to bring. The quality of your oils matter. We talked a little bit about this, so I won't spend a long time on this. We actually teach oil classes online and in person that talk about this. Where you buy them from matters, where they're grown matters, where they're processed matters, what time of year they're grown, how the growing conditions were. All of this matters. And doTERRA is committed to keeping the quality at its highest standard. And part of that, excuse me, I need to cough, but it's not coming out. It's the end of the night of a long day of talking. Part of that is their dedication to sourcing. They're really, really dedicated to sourcing around the world, places that historically and indigenously these oils are meant to be grown to bring about the best quality of therapeutic value in them. You can grow these anywhere, you know that. We can grow coriander in our backyard, and you can distill it and you can make an oil. But it's not going to have the same chemical constituents as if it's grown where it's historically and geographically meant to bring about the strongest, most potent therapeutic qualities, if that makes sense. So that's just a really brief idea of how that works. Another part that really catches my heart with doTERRA is their commitment to co-impact sourcing. So this is their heart and soul of what they do. They work with growers that are, in the beginning, usually unorganized, very limited access to good information and training. These, in many cases, have been growing this way for thousands of years, in some cases, or hundreds of years. And they're also dealing with middlemen, which is a terrible process. They call them the coyotes because they come in and just rip them off. And they're horrible people to deal with. And they don't enjoy any part of that when they come in and the coyotes try to buy from them. So what doTERRA does is they come in and they organize growing cooperatives. They teach the farmers, they train them how to grow to better capacity, how to give the land a rest when it needs to do that, when to do that, how to grow the right quality standards so that they get a better yield of oils, all these kinds of things. So they're training them, they're teaching them, they're learning from the farmers as well, which I love. It's not just to come in and show you our way, it's come in and show us how you've been doing it. Now let's tweak it a little so that you can get a better result. So they're really doing some beautiful things that way. They're also getting farmers to cooperate together and form these co-ops so that they can have some protection, some selling protection, and then they offer them exclusive contracts. So they don't have to deal with middlemen. doTERRA does not deal with middlemen in their quality of their oils. They have contracts with their growers. Over 80% of them are proprietary oils only contracted to doTERRA. So you may hear other companies say, yeah, well, our oil is from Madagascar, same as doTERRA's. That may be true, but it's not grown the same way with the people that we are contracted with in most cases, because it is exclusive. They are not allowed to sell to other people. Because they're getting better prices, right? doTERRA is giving them higher than fair trade, very predictable pricing, long-term contracts. And that gives us quality, consistent oils, which is fantastic. We want to know that they're going to grow them at a standard we've agreed to. Okay, so I'm not going to keep going on. You can listen to this in an oil class. This is fantastic information about why these oils are so powerful, why they work so well, and why they're different. They're pure, they're safe, and they're potent. You need to have confidence in the product if you're going to do this as a business. And one of the things we ask actually all of our builders now to do, our business partners, is to go through something like our oil camp that we put our customers through, where they can learn about the top oils, how to use them, where they come from, how doTERRA uses them, and what you can make with them. So a little bit of product training is important, and that's up to you as an individual business owner, in a sense, to continue with your ongoing development of your oil knowledge. But by no means do you need to be an expert to do this business. I knew nothing about oils in the beginning except that I was allergic to essential oils. So doTERRA surprised me when I realized I wasn't allergic to any of theirs. And that really is what intrigued me to find out why and to find out more about what they do. The quality is super important. If you're going to promote a product, if you're going to use a product with your family and then going to share it with people, you have to know that it is backed by quality and that it's safe and that it is tested and it's true. And that's something you can have 100% assurance with. This is a company that is now being used in research studies at hospitals like Vanderbilt Medical Center. Johns Hopkins is using it in their own research. because they needed to choose oils that had the top quality, that had the purest standard for research. And if you know, in medical research of any kind, they need something that can be predictable, something that can be duplicated. And they chose to work specifically with doTERRA's oils for that reason. And coming out with some really great studies, and they're always coming out with more, which is exciting. The research is rolling in now, which is, I love that. I'm a research person. But you have some great, famous faces and places here. We've got some famous surgeons and doctors and scientists who study these. The dog whisperer, he uses the lavender on his show. We have places like the Bellagio in Vegas that uses the skincare and the oils in their skincare. So it's becoming even more and more the growth. I mean, I could put hundreds of names on this page now of famous people who use it, athletes, Olympic athletes, nationally recognized TV shows that show doTERRA diffusers on the show and, in their different various scenes. Retention in a business matters, and you need to look at this anytime you consider any kind of network marketing business or any company. If you were to go into a store and ask them what their staff turnover was, and they tell you, we have about a 15% retention rate. What would that tell you? If you walked into, let's say, I don't know, Roots, a retail store, and they said, well, we're a really great store to work for. We have good management. And you say, well, what's your staff turnover? And they say, well, the turnover is about 75%. We replace our staff 75%. That would scare me out the door. I'd go, no, there's a problem here. The industry standard, and these are some very true statistics to these companies, is 15% at best. So that is simply because either product-wise, it's not something people keep buying, or they feel a driving need, or they have a health reason to keep buying it, or it's a one-time sale type of company, or it's a novelty. So that your product drives that, but also compensation, how you're paid will drive that as well. If you're not paid well for the work you put in over time, you lose steam, you lose interest. And that's where retention comes in. doTERRA's retention rate is phenomenal. It's actually gained the interest and the notice of Forbes. So Forbes magazine that looks with, Fortune 500 companies, doTERRA has more than caught their eye. They've recognized Emily Wright. They've recognized the owners. They've recognized the company as being a top employer to work for. People are sitting up and paying attention. So when they talk about retention rate, they're talking about people who have placed an order sometime in the last 12 months over anyone who's ever signed up. Okay, so someone who's just ordered in the last year, that's the retention rate. We have people who are ordering all the time. That's the point. So they don't just sign up and disappear. This is important to notice as well. After 5 years of business, so this is an older statistic, but it hasn't changed. I did check that. It hasn't changed. It's actually stayed very steady. And then a few of these, it's actually climbed. But after 5 years of business, so halfway into where we are now, 80% of customers that have enrolled with a kit and bought some oils are still considered active, meaning they've ordered since. They keep ordering. Out of those that are considered active, more than half of them are placing an order in the previous month. So when considering all the people who placed orders within the last 3 months, more than 60% of them are retained, meaning they continue to order. So that is an amazing, amazing fact. I want a business where I can build customers and I can educate them to the place where they are consistently ordering and using things in their home and in their life and in their health because they love it and it's working for them. And they keep ordering, and I'm not having to replace those customers every single month with new customers. I can build on top of that. So that is really important to pay attention to. And so it says 2014. I did check it. It's about the same. We've only increased, if anything. Our pay has gone up because doTERRA has increased the bonuses. Now, and this in itself is quite astonishing because in network marketing companies, you will in fact never see a company add bonuses or add in higher pay structures or increase your pay. They also haven't done a product price increase. So they're not increasing the price of their products. But because of the way they manage their money so well as a company, they have been able to look at what we need and say, okay, at premier rank, so this is it's a good rank. It's a low rank though, like it's not hard to achieve. At Premier, let's give them an extra bonus to keep them signing people up and to keep them motivated because you're doing a lot of work at Premier and Silver. You're hauling buckets and building a pipeline, like we said in the beginning. So let's give them a little extra incentive. So they added in some extra bonuses 2 years ago, and we were shocked. We couldn't believe they were giving us more because they were already so fair in what they were doing. But these are the average annual earnings in US dollars, and this is per year. So this is how we would gauge, what's your goal? What do you need to make? I never, as my professional career, I never made more than $25,000 a year, ever. I was, like I said, an early childhood educator. I also worked as a professional figure skating coach full-time, and that was my pay. I was lucky to bring home about 25 or 26,000 in a year at my most. So for me to be able to look at a silver rank and know I could replace that job, what I was working, and I was working hard, you guys. If you've ever talked to teachers, right, and preschool teachers, they work their butts off. I worked so many hours and so many jobs to make that 26,000 that I actually destroyed my health early into our marriage. And we were told we wouldn't be able to have babies without help because of what my body was going through from the stress of how much I was working. And I quit my job because of it. I just quit cold turkey and said, I can't do this. My body can't handle this anymore. I need to make a change. And things got straightened out once the stress kind of went away. But if I had been given an opportunity like this and someone told me, if you could take that same amount of time and energy that you're putting into this job that's killing you, and you could build residual income that's only going to increase each year, wouldn't you want to do that? And I would have said 100 times over, yes. However, if you had said to me, it's a network marketing company, I would have said, oh, forget it. Right? How many of you thought about that? How many of you thought, I don't think I can do network marketing. I don't like the name of network marketing. I don't like how it works. That was definitely me. So I just want you to put your mind at ease. It's not unusual to feel that way. But doTERRA does it better. They do it new. They do it in a different way, and I appreciate that. So this just gives you a quick peek at, I think it's Herbalife and Nu Skin. So some of the older, longer established companies that are out there. So they've been around a long time. They should be making a lot of money, correct? But the way that their structure is laid out, you don't. So look at the difference between doTERRA's ranks and their equivalent. Look at the pay difference. So that's why partly their compensation, that's partly why their retention is so low. Because if I'm putting in that much time and energy that I should be making the equivalent of about, 26,000, and I'm only making 8,000 in a year, I'd quit. It's not worth all that time and effort. But 26,000 is worth it. So think about that. Think about what your time is worth. This is the normal growth curve of a company, network marketing company. There's doTERRA's. We're the purple line. And it hasn't stopped. So it's still going. We're at year 10, guys, and it kept climbing. I gotta find the newer slide for this. But it kept climbing. It hasn't stopped. There's no plateau yet. And maybe there will be at some point, but we're leading a movement in healthcare. All I can tell you is don't miss the movement. Don't miss the momentum that's happening now. This is the time to get going. We've been in this since, I've been in this for 5 years, for the last 5 years. So I actually joined the second half of the company's growth curve here, and up to their tenure so far. And it didn't change the momentum for me at all. We jumped in and went running, and it was unbelievable. Where people in the States were going, oh, we've been doing this already for 5 years, and Canada just got on board, and suddenly things are flying over here. We are ripe and ready to have this, be carried throughout Canada and all over the world. Okay, so are you ready? One of the simplest ways I can explain to you, and this is my beautiful friend Kirsten here teaching a class, but one of the simplest ways I can explain to you how we do this is you use your oils, you share your oils, and then you teach other people how to do the same thing. Use your oils, share your oils, teach them how to do the same process. That's the business of doTERRA, to make it as simple as possible. That's what it is. Let's look at how we get paid. This is going to be really quick. This is actually a full webinar in itself, but I'm going to zoom you through it. You get 3 ways, main ways. There's 5 total, but 3 main ways that you get paid. They give you a fast start bonus that they pay you weekly. This is to get you rolling in the beginning, right? But you get it through your entire career of doTERRA. I now get my fast starts and I don't even pay attention to them because I'm so used to getting paid it. It just goes into my bank account. It's fantastic. So every time you enroll somebody with a kit or a membership, you're going to make 20% in their first 60 days of anything they buy. Fantastic, right? Let's say that person you sign up, they sign somebody else up. You're going to make 10% and they're going to make 20. And then someone below them signs someone up, you're making 5%. So on 3 levels of the people you sign up, you're always going to make fast starts, that percentage. It's fantastic, right? So again, not to make that any more complicated than it needs to be. The Power of 3 bonus is your next way. So they give you $50 just for teaching 3 people how to do this. $50 each month extra on top of your fast starts and on top of your monthly pay. So you teach 3 people how to use their oils, how to share their oils, and how to get others to do the same. You're going to make $50. Then you're going to teach them how to get their $50. You're going to say, hey, if you can get 3 people using oils, sharing oils, and teaching others, you're going to get $50. So let's do this. So each of your 3 get their $50, and now you're making $250 each month extra. Can you see how an extra $250 a month could be a really great bonus on top of the other things you're making, the other income you're making? Okay, now you duplicate that again. You just keep teaching people how to make their $50 a month by sharing oils and signing people up, and you're going to end up making $1,500 a month bonus. This is on top of all the other bonuses, all the other pays. Now here's the cool feature about doTERRA. Most companies would tell you, cool, you got 3 people on your team and they're ordered 100 each and you're good. Here's your $50. You don't get that again until you get to your next level. You're not going to get any more bonuses now until you reach the next level. That kind of sucks. I'll be honest. That would be like, oh, great, $50 once. That was fun. No, doTERRA will pay you the $50 every single month that this structure stays in place. So as long as those 3 people are ordering 100 points each month, you make the $50. And every time their people under them are ordering their ordering their 100, right? You're going to make the $250 every single month. Guys, $1,500 a month is a mortgage payment for some people, right? $250 could be a car payment. So think that way. Think of the numbers. This is pretty powerful. The third way you're getting paid is by the organizational pay, the organizational structure, how you build out your team. Most network marketing companies encourage you to build really wide across your team, pile up all your customers underneath you. And you're going to, because they tell you, oh, you're going to make 7% on everyone that's right underneath you. That sounds good in the beginning, but guess what? Look at the difference. On their first level over here, you can see right here, they're going to make $31 off all those people, because guess how many people you're putting on your front line typically in this business? I have 8. I only have 8 people on my front line. So yay, I get to make 7%, but it's only on 8 people. Whereas with doTERRA, they tell you, no, we want you to put your main committed builders on that front line. Those 3, right, that you get that $50 from. So for those 3 people, you're only going to make $9 off them. You're only going to make 2%. Woohoo, right? That doesn't seem like much. Hang on, though. Let's keep going down. All right, so on your next level, as it starts to branch out, because remember, if we were to go back, see in here? Look how much it's filling in. You're really filling in the volume down lower. So I don't want to make 7% on these 3. I want to make the least on the least, because then I'm going to make the most on the most, right? So we get down to our 7th level of our team. As we start to keep growing down with all these customers, you're going to make potentially, you're going to make more than that, but you're going to potentially make $32,000. Whereas over here, you would have only made $12,000. Guess who makes all the rest of this money? The company. This is why it's a 13% retention rate and doTERRA's is higher. It's important to know this. Okay, so we looked at this. We looked at what the average earnings were. But here's something that's a real statistic. This is the percentage in the company who are actually making this. And it has gone up because we're turning over diamonds left, right, and center every month. We're getting so many new diamonds. So the 8% has actually gone up in the diamond category. Over half of the company who are doing the business, who are making $26,000 a year, there's over half of them are doing this. That's a huge percentage. It's not just 5% are making that. It's over half, way over half. Gold rank, you're making close to $60,000. Again, this is US dollars. 22% of the company are doing this. And the company is majority of them are customers. So remember, we're talking about a smaller percentage of the company. We have 6 million people, but not all 6 million are doing this as a business, right? I believe doTERRA's percentages are around 75 to 80% are customers. So these are very real numbers. And then when you get up to Presidential Diamond, yes, you're in the top 1% of the company because it takes some serious time and dedication to get there. All right, how do we get started? How do you do this? What's the requirement to do this as a business? All right, so all you have to do is buy a kit. It's that simple, just like your customers would. You buy a membership kit to get started. You want to buy a decent size kit though. I'm going to be honest and tell you, you could buy a super cheap kit and get going, yeah, but you're going to spend more over time doing that because you're going to need to buy more product to get sharing with people. So make sure you buy a big enough kit that you can sample oils out to people. You can make stuff to share with people. You can, host a class and show them your oils. You want to be able to use them as well and have some experience. It's good to be a product of the product you're selling, right? So if you've never tried it, like I did with the skincare, I had no idea. I could have done a lot better in the beginning if I had tried more of the products. So try to get a good sampling of the product so that you know what you're selling. But when you buy a kit, here's some of the cool things to know. You don't have to pay the membership fee. It's included in the kit, your wholesale membership. It's discounted even lower than wholesale, so you're getting a really good deal on these kits. And this is something you need to know for your customers because we promote the kits to our customers. It's the cheapest way to do it. It's the best deal, and I want people to have a good deal. And it's a great foundation to start with. These kits will get you access into our oil camp training so you can learn how to use them. It gets you in set up so that you have enough to get going with things that you're going to need for daily life. So let's look at this one. I start most of my business partners, I ask them to start looking from this kit up. But I'll be honest, most of my leaders, I look at this first. So I'm going to work backwards for you guys. This is the Get It All kit. This is the business startup. If you were to go out and rent a storefront and set up shop and say, I'm going to open a wellness shop and I'm going to have this great shop, this great store that's going to sell oils, that's going to sell weight loss products and vitamins and diffusers and skincare and all natural products. You envision this? This is your store. How much do you think that would cost? I've opened a store. I used to own a baby store, so I can tell you, rent is around $4,000 a month, just off the top. Then you've got TMI. You have to pay, right, your clearing of the driveways. You have to pay for your parking lot. You have to pay for your utilities, everything else. So you're looking at about $5,500 a month. Okay. And this is just in any little town, even like our town. We're not in a big city here. This is a storefront. This is what we pay here in Orangeville. On top of that, you have to set up your store. So you need all your displays. You need all your shelving. I know when I did mine, it ran me about $4,000 and I did it really, really cheap because I bought used displays and everything else. Most stores, you're looking at about 20 grand minimum to frame it out and set it up. Okay. I could keep going, right? Then you have to buy all the product. You have to have accounts, wholesale accounts with multiple suppliers, and they have minimum orders. So their minimum orders, I'll tell you right now, from my days having a store, minimum orders are around 2 grand an order per company. And that's minimum. Usually it's much higher. It's about 10 grand. So once you order each product line, right? Can you do the math? Guys, this startup with the Diamond Kit gives you everything doTERRA sells. Has their whole product line. It gives you a beautiful travel bag or business bag case to carry it in. It gives you an amazing display set, right? If you want to have it on display in your home or at a business or whatever. It gives you everything you need to start trying the products and to sample out of them for $2,500 US. That I can't even, if I had been able to start up a business for that price, I would have jumped at it. So you also get $400 back in free product credits, meaning you get $400 worth of products free of your choosing when you want to use it. And it saves you almost $750 if you were to buy these all individually or buy them over time. Okay, so just think about this. If you think about it as a business investment, I'm about to launch my business. I'm opening a business. I'm going to officially launch into this and make this happen. You will make that money back in your first year, no problem, if you're taking the steps needed to make this business work. Okay, let's take a step back. If you're like, okay, I love the Get It All kit. It's not in the budget at the moment and I want to get launched right now. Okay, no problem. Let's look at the Every Oil kit. This is actually on, I think, right? Ruth, confirm if this is right. I could be wrong. I'm going to pull up the kits. We have a 20% off sale this month. Sorry, give me a second. I just didn't look at it before I got on the call. So we have 20% off this month. That is pretty amazing. I only have my Europe kit, so I need to look at the Canadian kit. Where are they? Here we are. Cool. All right. So yes, the Every Oil kit is 20% off this month, only for the month of June. So in Canada, So if you're in the US, the price is $15.85 US. In Canada, it is in Canadian, so this is pretty amazing, 1,580. So almost exactly the same, but in Canadian. That's a huge discount, right? So it's more than half of what the diamond kit was. So same thing, you get every oil, you get a few extra perks like the bag, the coconut oil, a really good diffuser. Plus you get $200 worth of free oils, and you start at 20% back. I actually forgot to tell you that about the last one. Hang on. So with this one, you start at 25% back in rewards, and I'm going to tell you about that in a second. This was 20% back. Okay, so this is the one that's on sale this month. Then there is, I'm actually going to tell you about another one that is amazing. It's not on here. It's called the Oil Sharing Kit. And the Oil Sharing Kit has doubles and triples of some of the most popular oils, and it's a fantastic business kit because then you can share samples out to people, right? Not your whole bottle, but you'll have more to share. It gives you all your stickers. It gives you a great diffuser, some extra doubles and triples, okay? That one is 20% off as well. So that one is $784 Canadian. Guys, that is starting up an amazing business that you're going to, over time, in the next couple of years, you're going to end up making thousands of dollars, okay? Like money you can't even imagine. This is a crazy deal. So that one is 20% off, and you get $100 like this one. You're going to get $100 back in credit. Now this one here that you see, the Natural Solution or the Natural Solutions Kit, is also on sale in June. This never happens, so please understand this is a big deal. So it is also 20% off. It's $480 Canadian. Look at that, it's even cheaper than the American price. That's amazing. It makes me want to go buy more. I'm going to buy another kit. And you are going to get $100 in credits, right? $100 worth of product points back. And you start at 15% back. So let me pause for a second. I want to talk about that. There we go. I'm going to go forward. Oops. So when we talk about the 25% or the percentage, the expectation on you as a business builder, the only requirement you have financially on a monthly basis is that you order for yourself 100 points worth. The points, or the PV, it's called the point value, is not far off from dollar value. If you're ordering from the US, it's almost equal, dollars for points. In Canada, it's different because we have our taxes and everything included in that. So let's say if you were to order 125 points, which is the recommended amount, get 125 points, because then doTERRA gives you free oils each month. On top of that, you're going to get some freebies every single month. So you just save 125 points worth. It's about $150, give or take. It depends what you're ordering. If it's oils, it's pretty close to that. If you're ordering vitamins and shakes and things like that, it might be a little higher. But here's the thing. You're going to cover that quickly if you're doing the steps needed to enroll people with your fast start bonuses, right? That 20% is going to cover what you're putting in. So in my first few months, I broke even, no problem. And my husband was like, you know what, if you can break even and make a few extra bucks, go for it. That's cool. Let's do it. And then I started making money. And I was like, hold on, I'm not just breaking even anymore. I'm getting my $250 bonus. I'm making $250 US. What's going on here, right? So then I started making more. I didn't even know how I was doing it. In the beginning, nobody was teaching me how to do it. The cool thing about this business, you guys have such a wealth of knowledge now supporting you. Again, you've got Canada's top teams working with you. We are in the top 1% of doTERRA's company. We're thoroughly trained now. We are fully equipped to help people and support them in this business. And you have leaders like Ruth and Kim and whoever's invited you to this who are just passionate about what they do and are making a better path for themselves as well as their team is growing. And their whole purpose, their whole focus is to support their team. Because when we support our teams, it supports us. It's the foundation of our business. If you don't support your team, your business will not expand. So one thing to understand about this business, you're not alone. Even if you want to be, you're not alone. You are committed to working together as a team. You're committed to being a part of our, online trainings or our in-person trainings. We don't do them often. You're not bombarded with them, but you have a variety of options given to you. Online, in-person, support to learn how to teach classes. It is an event-based business. So you are teaching classes in people's homes, at their business, at stores, however you want to do it. We get creative. We show you how to do this. You teach people how to make things. It's fun. I would not be doing this if it wasn't fun. I can tell you right now, I am an introvert. You might be surprised. I am a huge introvert. I'm much more comfortable behind my computer teaching online than I am out in person. But guys, in the first 2 years, I hustled. I spent many, many hours with my babies, with my kids coming with me, and they loved it. It was harder for me, but they loved it. Traveling, teaching classes, just around town even, but building those relationships and networking with people who were like-minded, who wanted natural health solutions, who were, really looking for something different, who were looking for a new way, and they needed a way out of the grind of what was sinking them, kind of. So you all know people who could use this. You all know people who need the oils, who need a health change, or who just want to have that power in their hands at home for their families. And we all know that. These work for everybody. So the product is of no question at all. You can just grow your faith in how well it works as you use them. Selling the product is no challenge. I'll be very honest. That's the least of the issues in this business, if there's any. The number one issue I hear from people is the networking part. How do I meet people? How do I get people to come to a class? Well, here's the good news. We teach you all of that. So everything is laid out in a way that you have support with your team. You are going to grow your own team, which is so much fun because it's your own little tribe. It's your own company in a sense, your own little micro, niche in the company. You can create that culture, that team culture, how you want to grow it. And they become your best friends, I'll be honest. I'm going to get out of this screen share here. There we go, I'm back. So I love that I get to work with people like Kimberly and Ruth. Ruth is I think of her like a sister. I think of all my frontline leaders like my family. They can walk into my house any minute of any day, and I've been on webinars and someone has walked in. There's been times where people show up. I get to work with my sister, my actual big sister, who is one of my best leaders as well. And it's a beautiful business in that sense. We have such an incredible culture in doTERRA of collaboration and teamwork. It's not competitive. It is not cutthroat in any way, shape, or form. The only competition is if we make it, if we make a healthy, fun, competition among ourselves. That's the only time you're going to get that. It's a self-motivated business. It is a commitment that is required from you to your team and to the team around you that is working with you. But we make it fun. We want to support you in a way that this is enjoyable. When it stops being fun, that's when I tell people you need to call me. When it's not fun anymore, we need to talk because something's gone wrong, right? We're doing something wrong, you're doing something wrong, and we need to fix it, and we're going to help you get back to that place where it's enjoyable and it's fun. It's work. I will not lie. This was a lot of work for me to get where I am today. But let me tell you something heartfelt. It is 100 times more worth it to me to have put in that hustle and that time and that work and the sacrifices that I put in for the first 2 years for me to now be able to say, we can travel the world at will. We are in England almost every other month now. We're building our business there and just enjoying being there because I love it there. We are moving to a house on the lake, near Collingwood, where we can just be and rest and relax and be at the beach. My husband is not even 40 and he's retired fully. So, there are so many things that, yes, it was hard and so many things that I had to push through, and you learn and you grow and you become a better person. But in the end, I can tell you, and I'm not even at the end, but in the process, I can say that it was 100 times worth it and 100% worth it. So the money is there. The product is solid. The opportunity is now. And especially with these offers that are going on in June, it doesn't happen. I think doTERRA's done it once before. So this is not like a monthly thing where they're going to have kits on sale. This would be your startup month. We would get you launched into Oil Camp, get you trained on the product. It's quick. It takes just 2 weeks. We would get you ready for an actual launch of your business. We have a launch party for you, and we get you set up with your friends and family or whoever you want to do this for customers. And you would just start thinking to yourself, what's my goal? What do I need? And when we sit down to have a business consult with you or on the phone or on a Zoom with Kimberly or with Ruth or with myself, you can then say, this is what I need. In order for me to be able to do this full time, I would need to be making this much. So for the meantime, I'm going to keep working the job I'm working, and that leaves me with X number of hours per week to work on this. How can we do it? So it's up to you to decide how much you want to do, how much you want to put in. Our part that we do is we will train you and equip you. And I tell all my leaders that I will match your efforts. I'm never going to push beyond what somebody's willing to do. I can't push you up a hill and make you do something you don't want to do. That's not where I want to be. It's not a job I want to have. I want to be your cheerleader. I want to be the person who encourages you, supports you, trains you, and that's what all of my team do. That's what our job is as coaches and as people who have found success in this business. So I hope this was helpful. Feel free to ask questions in the chat and we can keep talking. I'm going to end the recording in a minute. And I look forward to working with you guys. I know sometimes people have been on the fence for a little while or have been considering this. The best thing I could say to you is don't overthink it. Jump in. Really, it's worth a little bit of risk to feel uneasy or to feel like, I don't know if I can do this. I would say jump in, get rolling with it. Take it a step at a time, learn how to do this. And the best part is, you guys, if for any reason you got into this and you start building and you decide this is just not for me or it's not working out, which is very rare, as you can see from our retention rate, this rarely does happen. But if that was the case, we will embrace that wholeheartedly. We love you anyway, and we'll say, that's fine. You're not held to this. Let's move you into a customer position where you can just enjoy what you've been doing. And we can replace you with somebody who's, wants to run with this. So there's lots of ways to make this, less of a risk to you, but we do want people who are committed and capable and willing to run with us because it's worth it in the long run. So have an amazing night. I'm going to stop the recording and we'll chat some more for those of you that want to ask questions, but otherwise, thank you for listening.